The moment everybody's been waiting for. We are back, the three of us. Lucky dip time. Sam, it's good to see ya.
Yeah.
Been a long
while.
time.
I know. I'm back.
Do you come to us bearing wild and exciting adventurous stories of travels abroad? And
I wish.
maybe
all the movies that I forgot to cut them up and put them in.
That's okay. If you want, I can just do the honors. I've got like hundreds of them here. How are you, Ben?
Good. How are you?
Good. So we're doing a little bit of a Zoom presentation. We're not isolating or anything like that, so nobody needs to be concerned for us, but it is nice of you if you are. It just happens to be we're recording on a different night. So Ben, do you have anything cut up, or should I just use mine?
No, I'm prepared. I've got them in a lovely little KFC.
I was about to say, if you're a popcorn chicken, what's going on?
No.
You may as well go first, mate.
It's a large chips, mate.
Is that a reusable one, or is it?
And we know whatever he pulls out is going to be finger licking good.
It is now. Oh, it smells like potato.
Oh, is it that fucking Killer Joe?
What a coincidence.
Spotwood.
Ben has been working on a Spotwood release and been talking about it on the show last couple of weeks. So it's very, very handy and convenient. It's nice.
Yeah, bit
of
When did you put that in?
Literally 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
I cut them all up. I did them all 5 minutes ago.
It was still in his hand when he.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. If
I've talked about it too much, I can pull out something else.
No, I mean, talk about Spotwood. There'll be people watching this that haven't, listened to us on the show.
I'm actually surprised that I actually have talked about it on the show. I just thought I talked about it with you off the show. I didn't realize.
No. We do it on the show, and I kind of gloss over it because I'm like, I'm not sure how much you want to reveal. Like, so I move it on.
I honestly can't remember. Funnily enough, I can't remember talking about it at all.
I think it was on last week's show as well. But anyway,
So Spotswood is a shot in Melbourne film directed by Mark Joffa, starring Ben Mendelsohn, Tony Collette. Tony Collette's first film, Russell Crowe's third film, I believe, after Blood Oath and The Crossing. Sir Anthony Hopkins is in it, and Bruno Lawrence pops up, and John Flaus from Film Bus Forecast, and it's all about this moccasin factory that brings in an efficiency expert to help get them out of financial woes. All set in Spotswood. And
to people that are watching us from North America or even England, this was known as the efficiency expert over there, this film.
Yes, it's a completely different cut, funnily enough, the efficiency
expert. Is it really?
It's about 10 minutes shorter.
Wow.
And they've changed. It doesn't really make any substantive changes. They just wanted more of a happy ending.
I've never seen that cut. That's interesting. I didn't know that. But this was a big deal, Sam, at the time, because I think didn't it get released here, Ben, after he won the Oscar for Silence of the Lambs? Yeah, what happened was he had just wrapped on Silence of the Lambs and it hadn't come out. He got the job. He came over and he was more than happy to do it because he's like, I usually get, cast as psychopaths and serial killers. So this was kind of a light comedy. So he's happy to come out. And then, and they actually the movie actually it came out. I think it took a long time for it to come out because the studio didn't really know what to do with it because they thought it was too full on. Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
And so it just came out, and Miramax, who acquired Spotswood, then paid for reshoots and flew Hopkins back out after he'd won the Academy Award to do the reshoots. When after Silence of the Lambs had come out. It's a wonderful film, and there were quite a few Aussie films that were sort of period set like this at the time, because I think wasn't Flirting made around the same time and had come after The Year My Voice Broke. Like there was a flavour in the Aussie landscape for it. Like even the first time I watched it, I did not even pick up on the fact that it's set in the 60s. Yeah. It was made in the very, very early 90s. And I just kind of looked at it without, I just thought it was just a quirky factory. Like it didn't occur to me that the fact that they're all just driving,
'60s cars because
Mhm.
in the '80s and '90s, people
We
still
saw
had their
them,
cars from
yeah.
the '60s. Like it wasn't even a, you know, there was nothing about it that I picked up on at all that said this is definitely set in the '60s.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't see it.
The only Australian actor missing from that movie is probably bloody Noah Taylor. Like everyone else seems to be in it.
Yeah, I saw there's like a huge amount of people in it.
It's a really good film. It really is.
Yeah.
It's funny. And look, I mean, I guess they're not really comparable, but Anthony Hopkins made some really interesting choices around then because he did that. But then remember Welcome to Wellville?
Yeah.
Like that was kind of similar in its tone, I guess, you know, quirky comedy. But yeah.
It was that kind of thing. Like he was doing stuff like 84 Charing Cross Road and all the period.
Yeah.
Who are those guys?
Yeah, the Howard's End and the Merchant Ivory stuff.
Yeah, the Merchant Ivory stuff. So he was just doing, so that's why it was such a shock when he was Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, right.
I mean, it's been a long time since Magic.
Sam, would you like to? Excellent, thank you. Long time since Magic. Also, he was in International Velvet. Long time since that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Sam, what have you pulled out? Rescuers Down Under.
Oh my god. Jeez.
So this is the first Disney theatrical sequel to one of their movies. This one.
I never even bothered watching it.
I like it a lot. It's the sequel to The Rescuers, Sam, which was a fairly popular Disney film.
Yeah.
I don't know why they made it Down Under. I think maybe Crocodile Dundee influenced that. But I do like it. It animates the Australian landscape, in a kind of wonderful way. It's got good characters. I think the original cast returned. I can't remember, but
maybe
I saw it
Dot and the Kangaroo coming out at around that time too. Maybe.
Which one?
Dot and the Kangaroo.
No, that was the 70s. That one.
Was it?
Yeah. But there's another conversation to be had. I think there's like 9 or 10 Dot movies that people aren't aware of.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I don't think I know that one at all.
I reckon it might have been Crocodile Dundee that influenced it.
Yeah.
There was a massive desire for Australian content at that point. I don't know what to add about this movie because it's been so long since I've watched it. But
I haven't seen it forever.
If you can call it cinematography, I know it's animation, but like the cinematographic nature of the animation, the epicness is quite wonderful. And you've got a lot of that sort of didgeridoo in the score and things like that. It's quite magical.
Yeah,
but
it's probably worth a rewatch. It's definitely worth a rewatch.
I think the only problem is there are a couple of characters, like maybe one of the poachers, who are Americans trying to do Aussie accents. You do have Aussie actors in there, I think, but there's a couple that's clearly there.
John Candy is in it.
Yeah, I think he was in the original as well, or maybe it was Dom DeLuise playing like a massive bird.
Oh,
that's the thing. That's what it struck me as odd because the Rescuers was like a terrifying Disney movie.
Yep.
But everything was basically set in a swamp. And so then where do they go? The exact opposite of a swamp.
Yeah. But at the same time, like it's kind of got that perilous sort of adventure to it. Like the dangers of the outback are very prevalent in the story and all that. I actually would now, when you're talking about it, like to watch them back to back, just do a double feature.
Yeah,
it's probably on Disney Plus, I'm sure.
I would hope so. It's one of their official, they have their official like 23rd, 24th, 25th animated films, and it's part of that legacy. It's one of those.
It's on Disney Plus, so
there you go.
Definitely worth the rewatch.
And yeah, I like I said, it was their first sequel. It's the first animated sequel they've done.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I'll dive in. Let's have a look what I got here. Oh, I don't know if I want to talk about this, but Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Oh God!
Surely you're a fan, Ben.
I am indeed.
And I'm going to do the obligatory Glenn comment. Have you seen part 2? They did a prequel.
The prequel, yeah.
Yeah. Which I heard rumors or read rumors not long ago that they are returning for one of those sort of legacy sequels to this one.
Oh, really?
Right, what are they going to do?
How long has that been?
Like mums or grandmas?
It'll be like another high school reunion, in the 50th anniversary instead of the 30th or whatever. It's a cult film.
I really liked Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion, and
I've never seen it.
It was when I was most interested in watching Janine Garofalo movies.
Yeah, and Alan Cumming, he was really popular at the time.
Yeah,
but I think this movie, don't you reckon this surprised everyone? Because when it came out, it just looked like another stupid, like a female version of Bill and Ted. Like it was just, the female ditzes.
You say that like people didn't love Bill and Ted's.
No, they did. But when they do that, though, people are like, oh, another one. Like, Bill and Ted was good. We don't need another one. And I think this one surprised people because it's become a real cult thing. Like it's very, very popular. My wife watches it at least once a year.
Oh, wow.
Geez, I'm just looking at them. Someone's put up an image on Google of them, like then and now.
Oh yeah.
And it's I can't imagine the sequel now. They have to be. I mean, at the very least, they look like they've got grown-up kids.
It doesn't have to be a high school reunion, though.
No, it doesn't have to be a high school. I just mean them. Like it can't be. Two relatively young women going back and reliving that, like they're going to be mums or
no, it'd be like Romeo and Michelle own a jewelry store or something like that.
Romeo and Michelle hit menopause.
Yeah, Romeo and Michelle on the rags.
Yeah. No more. Yeah.
No more.
That's right. Romeo and Michelle's rags run dry.
Wow.
Yes.
How totally offensive.
If that's what we're here for, mate.
That is cancel worthy.
It is. If only I could. I can boot you from the video. That'd be a great effect, wouldn't it? That would be a great effect.
Ben doesn't speak for Good Movie Monday.
The closest you've actually become to being cancelled. I could just wipe you off the video.
Yeah.
That's the closest you've come. Really?
To physically being ejected.
Yeah.
On air.
Ben just likes to dip his toes across the line and just see what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, if I start talking about, I should have put Girl Next Door into this. Didn't write that down.
Yes, Ben had fun with that title last week. That's for sure.
That's the Cuthbert. Alicia
That's what I
Cuthbert one? Oh,
I was talking about a different one, but
okay.
I just kept, and it's a horrifically dark movie, and I just kept interrupting Glenn's review by asking him when they do porn. And they kind of do.
They do, but it's not the right kind.
It's not the good kind.
I didn't know that there was another film called the same thing.
Technically, it's called Jack Ketchum's Girl Next Door.
It's like Lee Daniels the butler. It's how they get away with it.
It's a depraved and hideous kind of film.
It's Bugsy Malone meets The Last Exit to Brooklyn.
God. It's we'll move on from that. Whose turn is it? Your turn, Ben.
All right.
We've got time. We haven't got an SD card to worry about lapsing out on us here, so we can get a couple more in.
And Spotwood. No, I've got
The Matchmaker.
Wonderboys.
Wonderboys.
Wonderboys. That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic film. It's a film that I put last week. I took part in that in the Sunday paper /MIF trivia competition, trivia night with the rest of the good folk at Umbrella, and we won, of course.
Oh, yay! Because
we're awesome. And one of the questions that I got wrong was who directed Wonderboys.
Hang on, don't tell them. Sam's got a computer to rely on. I don't. Is it Wonderboys? Curtis Hanson?
It is Curtis Hanson. I thought it was a Brit, and I was like, is it Doug Liman or Stephen Frears?
Yeah.
I thought it was one of them.
Even Lasse Hallström, and then I confused it with Cider House Rules, like Wonderboys and Cider House Rules.
Like Lasse Hallström would have been a good pick.
Yeah.
Luckily there were two questions, and I was able to redeem myself on the second question. But in the previous round, they were all talking about who wrote the book that this was based on, and I was like, I know that. I just couldn't remember the director.
Oh, that's where that would have been my one and only moment on the table if I had been there.
Yeah. No, I think you would have done quite well on that. We could, if it wasn't, if they weren't $200 a seat.
As
I would have said we should have gone Good Movie Monday one, because we would have dominated.
As proven on my games with Chloe on a Wednesday night, we do trivia now and stuff. I suck at it. It's really not my thing. I can like have a conversation and bring shit up, but when I'm asked a question, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it puts you on the spot and you can't remember.
And we've discovered the worst is taglines. When we throw taglines, what movie is this tagline from? And it should be easy as, and it's fucking hard.
Those things, I find that those things are ridiculous. It's very easy when you've got the internet in front of you and you're looking at the posters and you're like, well, of course that's Alien.
Yeah.
Of course that's The Shining. Like it's obvious. Take that away and then you're like, I got no idea.
No, but most of them, like it's basically like a one sentence version of a narrative. Like it should tell you what it is, but you blank out. Anyway. Wonderboys. What did you want to say about Wonderboys? I have not watched that since I reckon it first came out on video.
I really want to rewatch it. It's great. It's what's his name? Michael Douglas is a literary professor who wrote a Pulitzer Prize winning novel when he was young, and has since then had writer's block. He's gone through a succession of relationships, but all he can really do is teach. He just can't get the next one out. He's completely blocked. And he's got this kid in his class played by Tobey Maguire who kind of may be the next him, and he's dealing with that, and he's getting divorced / having I don't want to give too much away, but
that's right.
It's all kind of culminates around this week-long or month-long writers' festival in his kind of college town. Robert Downey Jr. is his agent who's been pressuring him for his next book. Rip Torn is like a competing writer who's but he just writes like John Grisham type novels. Henry Thomas is the dean of the university. Frances McDormand is Henry Thomas's wife.
Amazing cast.
Katie Holmes is like a lodger in his house.
Oh wow!
It's based on a Michael Chabon novel.
With the exception of like the recent Spider-Man, like, do you feel like we haven't had enough Tobey Maguire for a while? It's like he's fallen off the radar.
When I saw him in the last Spider-Man movie, because obviously he was in it, I was like, I just really want to see more of Tobey Maguire now.
Yeah, I was too. I'm like, where have you been? Like, you've got he's like him and Jake Gyllenhaal look the same, basically, right? And we've seen lots of Jake Gyllenhaal, but Tobey Maguire kind of just fell off the.
Well, the problem is that you get to a point where you miss him, and you kind of like, he hasn't done anything for a while, and then you watch his Spider-Man movies, and you're like, oh, that's right. That's why I don't want to see him.
I think they're great.
I do too. I do the first
two. And then you watch Molly's Game, where what's his name from now I can't remember. Is it Michael Cera basically plays him.
Yeah.
And you realize he's a real asshole in real life. And
I don't know. I like watching Tobey Maguire on screen. And I do want to see more of him.
Yeah.
But, anyway,
did you see that movie that he did with? Was it Jake Gyllenhaal? Were they brothers?
Yeah. Was it called Brothers?
Was it called Brothers? Yeah.
That's the Jim Sheridan film.
I didn't like him in that at all. I didn't like it. I mean, he's playing a horrible character kind of thing.
Good old Jim Sheridan. Go back to Good Movie Monday and have a listen. A few weeks ago, we interviewed the guy. Thanks for the plug, Ben.
Okay. Did we? Okay. Didn't. Jim Sheridan seemingly just woke up when he
Lots of this.
Tobey Maguire, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Natalie Portman.
It's not a bad movie, but I get your point. We've got time
for
one more.
It's a bad movie. It's just one of those ones where it's hard to like. It's that kind of eternal question about when you watch a movie, and you understand that it's a great performance, but he's playing an unlikable character, so you don't really like it. Like, I don't like him. Like, it's a great performance, but it's not one where I'm like, oh yeah. Tobey Maguire in that movie is great. Like, he's doing a really good job of playing an unlikable character.
It doesn't turn me off the movie, so like I just recognize it's a good performance, and I don't like the character, but I still like the film. But
it's like my mother forever, after seeing M as a child, she couldn't watch Peter Lorre movies. He's just like a creepy psychopath.
I get that. Although Peter Lorre wasn't the first. I mean, M wasn't the first Peter Lorre film I saw, so I think that like makes a huge difference too, right?
Yeah. But what's it? Emo Spider-Man didn't help Tobey Maguire.
No, not at all. That's where it all came undone. I'll do this one on behalf of both of us, Sam.
Okay, thank you.
And then we'll call it a night. All right.
I'll cut up those things. I can't believe I forgot.
Wow. Now I watched this one recently, but I had put this title in the tin long before I watched it. Cooley High.
Cooley High.
The blaxploitation movie.
Oh.
It's yeah. I mean, is it like a blaxploitation? It's the African American version of I don't know. Name a high school movie. It's
Dangerous Minds.
Yeah, kinda. It's just a 1970s.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Kinda. It's
Dazed
comedy,
and
but it's
Confused.
no. I think Fast Times at Ridgemont High is probably the closer
It's
one.
just that it was MG. I think it was MGM. Pretty sure it's MGM released it with all of their blaxploitation movies. Like
yeah. And there's an element, I
and
guess, if it's
Coffee Brown
trying
and
to be a black version of something that's been done with a white cast, that's kind of blaxploitation in and of its nature. But it's quite good. The cast have all mostly gone on to prominent things. But I watched it and I was really surprised with how effective it is. The design of it's really well done, and it's a well-made film.
Is Antonio Fargas in it?
I don't know, but I think the director's gone on to some pretty prominent stuff. Sam's the one with the keyboard tapping away there. She might be able to help us out.
I can't see his name. No, I can't see.
But
Glenn Turman, Lawrence
it's known.
Jacobs.
Glenn Turman is the
Glenn Turman.
No, he's not the captain from 21 Jump Street. He's someone's dad in.
Oh, isn't he the guy from X-Files that hides in the car?
No, that's the guy from that's the guy from 21 Jump Street.
Oh, I think he's in it.
He's
I think he's in it though. Anyway,
he's the dad in House of Lies, the Don Cheadle's dad in it. And he's in Gremlins and Penitentiary too.
Totally.
But what was his? He did a couple of those. You can't even say the names of some of the films.
No, you keep looking those up. But the thing is, this is a movie that's quite highly regarded in sort of the black community. I know that people like John Singleton and Spike Jonze really revered it because it sort of depicted adolescence, in their community fairly accurately. Even though you watch it and you're like, oh, this is some dicey shit. Like now that we're so sensitive to racial things, even though they're depicting it kind of honestly and they told their own story, you watch it now and you're like, oh, can you do that? Like, but it's because we're not of that culture. It's kind of,
exactly.
It's a bit hard for us to sort of take it as easily. But I loved it. I watched it and I was surprised at how good it is. It was like an accidental find on Amazon Prime or Tubi or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd heard about it, but there it was, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch that.
So it's all about high school kids.
Yeah, high school kids and delinquents getting up to trouble, skipping class and going down to the fair and pickpocketing and stealing things, and that doesn't bode well as far as like stereotypes go, but in that community that was kind of what kids did, whether you're white or black. You're just if you're a bit disadvantaged, you'd go and cause some trouble. And
he was the professor in a different world. That's what I was thinking of. The guy from X-Files is the guy from what's that? Working Men? The Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen Garbage Men movie?
Oh yeah, Men at Work.
Men at Work. He's the that one? He's the perfectly throwing away a perfectly good white boy like that. He's
but is he in Cooley High as well? I could have sworn I was watching it going, oh, that's the dude from X-Files. That's the dude from Gremlins. Like there were so many faces. I'm like, oh, that's that guy.
Yeah, that's how
and
it is.
You forget how far back these actors go.
Yeah. Well, this one's.
It's like watching.
He's in it as well. Stephen Williams. That's his name. It's
like watching Death Wish and seeing Jeff Goldblum pop up. It's like it's the most surreal thing.
And he's in I'm pretty sure he plays a similar kind of punk in St. Ives.
Yeah, he was very typecast in those days.
Robert England. But the best part of Stephen Williams being in X-Files is when he fights Steve Pileggi's character. Mitch Pileggi, from Shocker. Yeah. They have they replace he kind of takes over as as the Mitch Pileggi character when he kind of has to, he realizes that there's something wrong with the FBI, and they have this fight, and you're like, oh, it's the two kind of, the two bosses are going at it. It's like this really amazing moment. The show is one of my favorite X-Files moments.
Amazing. I was in my video store over in Canada, and the guy next to me looking for new released movies to watch on a Friday night was the Cancer Man, Cigarette Smoke Man.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Turns out he lives in my neighborhood. It's like, wow.
Amazing.
I was too chicken to say hi.
Just offer him a cigarette and not say anything.
He smoked herbal cigarettes on that show.
Yeah, right. We would have had to.
Yeah. I mean, they'd be pretty harsh.
I don't even think even if you do smoke, I don't think that you're allowed to smoke cigarettes in movies, like just for the other actors as well as your own.
No, now it's either, if it's not digitally enhanced, smoke, like they're doing. I think there's smokes you can get that they emit like a powder at the end that turns into a puff. Like you used to get a really cheap version of that in the show bags back when we were kids. You get cigarettes and they had powder, like talcum powder in there. Yeah. And instead of inhaling, you'd blow on them and they'd blow the powder would come out the end.
I just had bags.
Yeah. It was probably made of asbestos, man. It's probably like something really nasty.
Worse than cigarettes.
Yeah.
It's probably still in my lungs. Who knows?
It gave you one way or the other. It was going to give you cancer.
It was the joy of the Melbourne show at the time.
Yeah.
If you don't die on the rides, you die when you get home.
No, from the show bags, yeah.
That's right. There's so many there's like, gunpowder in the show bags, because back then the caps for the cap guns were pretty loaded.
we had the cap guns when I was little. Yeah.
Good time. I was in one of those really cheap sort of trinkety shops the other day, and they still had caps on the shelf. I'm like, I just want to buy. I haven't got a cap gun, but I want to buy them. Like, I just smash them with a hammer or something. That was awesome. Well, put them all in a bag and light it on fire.
It's progressively getting worse and worse.
The little boy in me just wanted to play.
Yeah.
You look like you're deep in concentration there, Ben.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I've gone on a bit of an internet deep dive.
Uh-oh.
And now I'm looking up. I've now made the horrible mistake of looking up Charlie Sheen on Wikipedia, and it is not not a pretty.
It's pretty long by now.
It's
Well, we all know. I mean, it wasn't that deep a dive. The reason he found Charlie Sheen is because he went searching for Denise Richards' OnlyFans page.
That's right. That is 100% correct. And his daughters, and his girlfriends, and Charlie Sheen has an OnlyFans page.
It's just scenes from that movie X that they did.
Yeah.
Rated X, whatever it was.
Yeah, Rated X, the movie about the guys who made it behind the green door.
All right, I reckon that's enough. Thanks. It's good to see you, Sam.
You too.
Hopefully you'll be along next week, and we do definitely have to have you back at the desk soon. So we'll arrange that at a time when other people aren't watching. So thanks for watching, everybody. Catch you next time.
Bye. Awesome.